Hey guys, today I'm going to show you the complete workflow from Blender to Mixer, then Unreal Engine 5. So we are going to make a game ready asset. We just apply the material to our asset and it will be ready. So I will be as clear as possible and straightforward. Let's begin with Blender. Okay, now I have created this simple hospital door. You can find it on Sketchfab in my page under the description below. I made it according to this size of this mannequin. You can download this mannequin tool on the internet, and it is Mr. Mannequin templates, and you choose only meshes. Don't use armature materials, and only choose the mesh and apply it. It gives you only the static mesh mannequin, and because we going to create our materials to Unreal Engine 5, you need to scale it for a human scale and use just this mannequin tool, and its height is, if I'm not mistaken, is a 1.8 meters, something like that. So this door is about 2 meters. As you can see, checkers, I just want to I assume that you know some basics of the UV unwrapping. It's basically a peeling off some parts of your object and applying 2D textures to 3D texture. But I just want to mention some essentials about UV unwrapping. First thing is seams. You have an adequate amount of seam and don't use lots of seams in your models. Second, texel density. Texel density is basically it shows you how your texture is going to be shown to audience, blurry or high resolution. If your squares in this checker is huge, your texture will be shown to audience in blurry and it doesn't attract at all. You have to have adequate amount of size in texel density. If your model, let's say this part is shown to audience only, so you have to have much more dense texel density. Okay, so I mean your squares should be smaller, for example here or here. Okay, I just separated these objects from each other, and I gave them a door 1 and door 2, and this one metal parts. These are metal parts, door frame and door handle and metal parts. Okay, I use Zen UV, by the way. It helps you UV unwrapping. It makes life easier. And meshing tool, I don't know the name, meshing tool. Let's check. So Zen UV, as I said, it's a UV unwrapping tool, helps in actually packing island. And packing island, I forget about that. The third fundamental and essential thing is packing islands. You have to pack your islands in perfect condition or a good condition. Let's say this one. Let's go to UV, and as I said, we use 90% UV coverage here. You have to be above 75 or 80% UV coverage, and this tool shows it. This is by the way 2K checker, 2K UV grid. You have to be in these areas, and let's say increase it. I mean the texel density is this. The squares are getting smaller and smaller, and this means your texture resolution is getting higher and higher. The details are higher. However, since we are outside of the UV grid, your textures are going to be repeat. The tiling will be start. Okay, and okay, let's close the UV grid and export this to outside of the Blender. Important thing here is separate your objects as mine, because you'll see that why we did this, because we're going to use a quixel mixer, and there will be a part to check your materials, meshes, and apply the specific textures to that specific material. So let's select all of these parts and don't select the mannequin, and go to export FBX. Okay, I have already created one. Let's delete this was, yeah, okay. And don't forget to check the selected objects, because if you don't select this, if you don't check this selected object, you export your entire project. So be careful about that. And give it some proper name, and choose your location to save and export it. Okay, let's close this one. Okay, I have already created one. As I said, you can download this ready asset from Sketchfab, but we are going to do it from scratch. And new mix, this is going to be door. And as I said, in Blender I used 2K resolution checkers for UV unwrapping, and I just want to use the same resolution. It's 2K, 4K and 8K. We have blank page here. What we are going to do now, choose custom model, because our hospital door is custom model made in Blender. Choose it, it's automatically installed, and you see it has default texture on it. Okay, and we have texture resolution in 2K. Everything is fine here, and let's go layers. As I said, in Blender you have to give some separate your objects and give them a name. Here, let's say this part is door frame is here, metal parts here, doors, these are doors, yep, doors, but this one is okay, doors and doors. This one is not the correct, yep, correct, this is not the correct, this one is the first one I have created, so I'm deleting. The reason why I'm doing this, there is only one door, and it is a one solid mesh, okay, and whenever I want to paint only this side in this program, it is like it's mirrored and it's paint the other side. So I just separated the doors in Blender again. In the first time I have created this, it's not like that, and from Sketchfab, in the Sketchfab model, it's done like this. The doors are in one piece, and whenever I just wanted to paint this side of door, it painted this side. The people generally actually wants to have a mirror effect. In the quixel mixer they doesn't have such a feature like that, but I don't know, somehow I get that feature, but I don't want it. So let's open, in order not to get that mirror effect, we have to separate the doors, and I have done it here. As I said, this should be okay. I don't know why, but let's try it. Okay, anyway, it doesn't show the door 1 and door 2. Okay, what we are going to do now is I just have to have same textures on the doors and the door frame, so I check the doors frames and door. And by the way, whenever you check some things, some parts, it applies the texture just only the part that you checked. Okay, so if I want to have the same textures on this part, door frame and the door, I check the both of them. Okay, and you can add surface layer directly here, or you can go to your library and select it, automatically installed in the under this layer set, or you can first download some Megascan surfaces here. Since I have downloaded already, let's say this one, okay, let's use this one. It applies the only that we select, door frame and doors. Okay, let's give this layer set door frame and doors. Okay, now if you, by the way, I'm clicking Alt and left mouse button to hover off like this. Okay, and right click, alt and right click, zoom in out, and middle mouse, this makes this move, and shift, no, just only middle mouse makes this movement. Okay, if I want to change this color, what we are going to do, albedo means it is base color, and the base color means it's RGB. Okay, these are all non-color textures. They doesn't have RGB info. They only have one channel, red or green. They are gray. They are gray colors. Okay, and the albedo means is this is the base color, and you can change this RGB color from here. Okay, so, and as you see, the color changed. So let's add another color to this one. And by the way, you don't want to change in roughness, displacement, and normals from here. Since we are going to use this asset in Unreal Engine 5, we're going to create master materials to this asset. Okay, so we are going to change our some normal, roughness, metalness values in our material instance that we created in Unreal Engine 5. Don't use these things, just only albedo. You can also use albedo to adjust the master material and the master material instance to adjust the albedo color in Unreal Engine 5, but you can do it here as well. So we use this color. Let's first let's give some base colors to our material, then mix some other materials. Okay, let's create another level, another layer, door handle and metal parts, these two and these two. Okay, we name it door handle and metal parts. Okay, metal parts. As this selected, to select our material, what we can choose is, it doesn't matter since this is a tutorial. So we apply this texture to this one, and let's go to apply the last parts. Add the layer set 3, metal parts. Okay, metal parts, then any color that you want. Okay, we apply it. So we have a basic material with some textures on it, but this is quite boring, and if you want to adjust some things or mix some textures together, you have to add some other surface materials to the layers. Okay, so let's begin with our door. Let's say this is our base color, and we want to apply another texture. We going to online or local library. We choose a texture. Let's choose this one. I mean, okay, this texture has some rusty parts. Okay, and I want to have some rusty parts, but I don't want to this amount of scratch or this color. Okay, and I want just this texture. I applied it. Okay, as you see, this texture is top of the previous one, and actually this scratch painted metal sheet has some surfaces, some scratches, some rusty part, but it doesn't show because this is way above this one. Okay, so we are going to hide blending. I don't want to see the first texture. Okay, I just want to see the little bit amount of it. Okay, so we reduce the blend radius, 0.04. It applies. Okay, use height value 0.2. Okay, what I did is I just increase the height of this texture. Let's see like 2D. Okay, so we have some base texture here. Okay, and we apply the other texture top of it. Okay, I just want to see the second texture a little bit more, so I just increase its height. So I mean the second texture gets a little bit it's a little bit higher than the previous one. Okay, and it shows it is shown a little bit more. Let's go to our 3D and we see, so this is a basic, this is the second textures, just only it, okay, and this is with the second texture, first texture. So it make a little bit detail, and yeah, it a little bit add a little bit detail on it. So this is why we mix our textures, to avoid tilings and make it look a little bit realistic. Okay, it's 0.008. This looks fine. Okay, and we can add extra details by adding a paint layer or some masks on this texture. You can add another textures as well. Let's add this one to have a little bit rust. Okay, let's use this one, and as you see, we have some rusty looking metal sheet. Let's blend it, 0.008 again. Okay, so here's we have some rusty looking parts. It makes a little bit realistic. We can increase. Okay, this looks fine. Okay, we have some rusty looking part, and if you wrap underlying the normal map which comes from the under, applied to the top texture, so it doesn't have much more displacement or normal, it doesn't affect anything. This thing is blur underlying and on blur, and this one is new, I guess. The placement, I don't want to change the location or scaling of this texture. And by the way, this is okay, it's a box projection. Let's use tiling. Yeah, it used box projection for UV, I guess. I don't know why. It should be using tiling. Anyway, and we use one tile XY and 1 by 1. It means it tiles the texture only once. Okay, if you make it 2, your texture looks tiles 2 times. It looks fine. Okay, 2 times is fine. It gives a little bit more detail. But you can see here there is a tiling here. Here is here and here is same, so I just change it to 1. Yep, this looks a little bit better. Okay, and now let's use some scratchings. This is some imperfection. Yep, this is imperfection scratch metal. You can find it online here and download it. Let's use this scratched, or this one, scratch metal. We applied it to here. It's applied, and let's check. Since we have already lots of normal bumps and scratches on the textures as itself, generally it's shown when it gets light angle like this, it's more noticeable. We can add some other things as well. So I don't want to add some. You can also add some decals. Let's add decal. You can add cracks, whatever you want here, but in this case we can use some leakage, the graphic content. Okay, we can make some blood stain or these things in brush as well, and let's use the brushes, don't use the decals, because the decals is, you can also add some decals in Unreal Engine 5. When you're on Unreal Engine 5 you don't need, but let's use some masks. So we add paint layer. Okay, we add paint layer, and you should add some brushes here, and how you do it is online, go online, and here brush, all brushes, okay, and choose whatever you want. Here is lots of brushes, lots of type of brush you can download, and when you download it, directly go to the brush presets. Okay, choose some brushes. So we have here, turn off the displacement because we just want to use some textures, don't want to use displacement. When if you click on displacement and lower displacement, it makes a little bit dent into your model. It makes a 3D um, looking displacement, but we don't want to use it now. We just use textures. Blood steel, I have already downloaded some blood. Okay, and whenever I click, actually there is some blood. Okay, but we can change it color. It's now in gray. It doesn't look like a blood at all. Okay, we delete it, and this is a eraser, by the way, and this is a brush tool, razor tool, and we can increase our brush size here. Angle makes it rotation. Angle makes the rotation. Spacing, I don't know what the spacing does. Probably it spreads some the textures from each other. Opacity means how your texture opaque. Flow, I don't know flow, what does the flow, I don't know. And let size jitter, angle jitter, these things makes your brush much more natural. When you brush, hold your left mouse button and brush your texture material, it generally, if it's in 0, your texture is applied in one direction. But if you increase the angle of jitter, how do you pronounce it, I don't know, jitter, and size, it makes it some random. Your brush angle is changing randomly. Okay, size of jitter, angle, you make it angle 100, flow like 35, and jitter size, okay, like this. So the important thing here is the color. Let's change the color to some bloodish color. Blood is like this, right? Doesn't look like the full bright red. It has some darkness. Okay, like this. So whenever, and we don't have metalness. Metalness is actually, it is already in black. The black means it doesn't have any metallic feature. The roughness is here important. You can uncheck the metalness. We don't need the metal because it's not a metal thing. And by the way, you can also apply some pre-made features, pre-made colors to your brush. Okay, you can use silver, tin, tungsten, whatever you want. We don't need it. Okay, just only change the color here and make some bloods. As you can see, we have some blood, but its color is not. Let's use it a little bit darker. Okay, now we just paint it. As you see, whenever I paint here, it paints the other side. I don't know why, but in the other parts we don't have it. So people actually wants a mirrored feature in this program. I have already mirrored the option, but I don't know how it's happened. So let's paint it a little bit blood, make your scene attractive. Okay, let's use another color, and we can also increase the opacity. Our opacity is here a little bit low. I just want a variation and make a little bit, some part of blood is much more visible, like it's the event happened recently. Okay, so some parts like this. Let's increase the opacity. So as you can see, our texture brightness increased, opacity increased. Okay, this looks fine. Someone shot here. The scenario is like that. Okay, someone is shot here recently, so we have a much more opaque matte color here. Okay, now we have some scratches. You can use some scratches, but we don't want to use the red color. You can use just albedo. You can uncheck the albedo, and let's try. Oh, we don't want like that. We want albedo, but we change its color. Okay, something like gray. Yep. So we have here some. This is actually a blood. Yeah, this is a blood. Okay. Let's use damage. Yep. This is going to give us some scratches. You couldn't see some. We have some scratches. Let's paint here. See some little scratches. What is this? This is a damage. We couldn't see any difference, but it actually makes some things. You have to get some angle, change your angle to see the difference. Okay, I'm going to paint this area because here is actually already have some scratches. Let's paint. Let's go to door metal parts, door handle and metal parts. Let's paint here. So here we have some really basic material. We should add something different. Let's add scratch metal. Okay, it's applied. We couldn't see exactly, but as you can see, you have to change your angle because this is like a roughness map. And add another scratch like this. And we can also add some rusty parts. Okay, but let's add by pressing Alt and paint the mask on this layer. It gives us a black mask. Okay, if you didn't pass while you are pressing Alt this button, it gives you only a white mask, and our brush now is in black value. You have to make it white because white means it will show you the texture wherever you paint. It paint in white channel, and white channel going to show us that rusty texture. Okay, let's use this scratched tool and let's paint. Let's decrease its size. Okay, and make a little rusty looking effects. Okay, here. So it's its opacity, and let's increase its size. Let me use this one. Okay, we should use the other brushes, not the imperfections. So I'm making some rusty looking things, just only the parts I just wanted to see. These corners are rusted. Okay, it's only the corners. Let me use the other brushes. Let's see what's going to happen. Okay, this gives us a fade effect. Oh, okay, we should use the black to erase. Yeah, you should use the black or X automatically changes the color from from black to white. Let's use let me again use this one. I don't know, let's try. Okay, this gives us a some blood shaped rusty looking. This is great. Let's change it angle. Okay, this is perfect. You see, we making changes, just only the parts where we want. Okay, it looks great. And I don't know why this. Okay, this is looking perfect, and we can apply the similar thing to this part. Don't like this. This is not a good brush. Let's use this one. You can also add your own brushes. What you are going to do is just brush shape load image. Okay, the thing here is you are creating some textures, but the tiling it should be not noticeable. Okay, the key is here breaking tilings. Breaking tiling is important. Okay, this looks great, and use some other tools to make some rusty points. I think this is better than the asset that I have downloaded to Sketchfab. Yes, I should add this one to Sketchfab as well. So let's make, firstly, let's click to our texture, and if you make some changes, you can use again some height maps and make some blend, change the blend radius, but it looks good. Okay, especially from distance it looks perfect. Change the tiling. Yeah, I don't know why the default selection is box projection. The box projection and tiling. Tiling, it should be tiling, because I have created UV UVs of all of these parts, so we should use tiling, not box projection. Okay, add the paint layer again, and then this is with the second paint layer, and we can use some scratches because these are the lower parts. Let's say the people hit their foots to open this door. Okay, so here we should have some scratches and imperfections. Okay, so let's choose the damage. We have albedo, okay, metalness, and size, opacity. Let's make some scratch and see what will happen. So whenever I paint here, there is an effect, and as you can see here, it applied. And if we change the angle of our, maybe we can see better. I'm making actually, yes, it applies, but we couldn't see. So make it a bigger. Yeah, we can see better now. Especially when you change your angle, you will see that scratches. I can see now from here. You can see we have some scratches. We can change the brush. Yeah, this gives us a little bit different scratch. So we are making here scratchy. Yeah, as you can see, we have scratch. Look at the difference between those two parts. Okay, we have scratched, and we can add blots as well here. Let's change the color. Reduce the opacity. We deleted the. So make me go to back. Okay, we can change the opacity, reduce the opacity, size. We shouldn't have displacement. This shows you if you open the displacement, this happens. Okay, this looks like some gunshots happen this area. It looks, yeah, we can add some gunshots like this to here. It's wild, but, and we can also invert the displacement like this, and whenever we can use this one as well. Let's say the scenario is like that, someone shot them from the other side, okay, and this it make a little dent, the bullet couldn't make it through, and make some dent and displacement like this. You can think whatever you want. So let's go back by pressing Ctrl and Z, okay, and close the displacement and apply some blood. Okay, you can also scratch these areas to blend. You see, we scratch here to blend, and it's looking much more natural. Okay, so we have to just only these things are left. We can go here, we can add again some scratches in these metals, okay, and it directly gives us some scratch effect. And also we can use a paint layer and some again scratches. Oops, it has displacement. Again, we can add some scratches. Okay, let's say we finished, because it looks great. Okay, let's say we finished, and the time is exporting these things out. Okay, we can export, since this is Epic Games, the owner of the Quixel mixer is Epic Games, it perfectly works with the Unreal Engine. We can just go export and choose the custom. If you want to add this to a library, you can add these all textures and save your library as well. For example, I have in my previous apocalyptic city scene video, my project, I have made some road textures. Okay, so we apply some road textures to here. So you can save, just only click the layer you want and just go here and apply it. Okay, so we delete this layer. You can save it basically. And okay, we have custom, we custom selected, and you can choose your path. And since we are going to apply this and install this asset to Unreal Engine, we should open Unreal Engine. Okay, while it's opening, we are going to export our model as FBX, because the FBX works perfect with Unreal Engine. The OBJ has some issues. You choose metalness, albedo, roughness, normal, displacement, which type of texture you want, you just check it. Okay, texture sets like here, door frame, metal parts, they're all named under these things. Okay, so door frame albedo, door frame roughness, door frame normal, like that, so you don't you are not going to be confused about that. So export, and if you want, you can also export your model, so we can export it. We are going to export it as well. I have, but we can export it. So okay, we have a blank project here. Okay, we have blank project here selected. We can just you choose your project location, name it, let's say, and create it. Okay, we have blank project here, preparing shaders. Wait for the preparing shaders. It's prepared, and let me go here. Okay, so let me talk about some Unreal Engine basics here. We are going to create some empty space as well. I will talk about a little bit about the some creating basic scene. Okay, now we have a level here, and we are going to create a new level, and it will be empty, or we can create a basic, but I just want to show you an empty level, probably because you probably create some levels and maps from scratch. So we have empty level. First, we are going to create our landscape. Okay, landscape, and I'm not changing anything here. Create. We create our level landscape. Okay, here, and go back to selection mode. Just wait for prepare shaders. You are going to add, firstly, you are going to add some lights. So we need to have some directional light. We need to have skylight. Okay, we need to have visual effects, sky atmosphere here. Okay, and we need to have volumetric clouds. And if we go up, you see this black void. Okay, in order to get rid of this effect, we need to have some exponential height fog. Okay, this one we don't have. Yep, the black void effect is gone. Okay, so whenever you want to make a project, you have to use these things. These are 90% same for all projects. Okay, and we need to add exponential post-process volume, and because we don't want to have some shadow problems whenever you get in some points, it makes it darker and darker, and when you change your when you go to another area, the entire world is getting brighter and brighter, so we don't want that. We have to have same amount of changings. Okay, let's go first, let's make it let's select post-process volume and go under the exponential exposure, infinite extent. First we should infinite, because this box, this post-process volume is now just applying anything just in it. Okay, whenever you make a change, the change will show just only in this box, so you have to invert it by typing infinite extent and check it. Okay, doesn't and it it doesn't change anything because we didn't change any feature of this post process. So the first thing is exposure. Then now the exposure, and make sure you check the game settings. By the way, if you don't check the game settings, it doesn't affect anything. Okay, so exposure, and exposure, under the exposure metering mode, auto exposure, change it to manual. So it's now in dark pitch black. You change the exposure compensation to something like 10 or 11. Okay, let's begin with 10. The 10 is a little bit less amount of light exposure. Let's make it 11, and 11 is too bright. 10.5 is okay for me. If you are making some indoor scenes, you should use light mask. Okay, light mask and light baking, you should learn it how to make it, because it gives you a lot of performance and FPS. Since you are not going to use some lightning, movable lightnings, okay, your light doesn't change a lot. You should have static lights, and it gives you a lot of performance. But if you are doing an outdoor scenes, you should use lumen, because you have some trees or movable lights, so you should movable lights for realistic scenes. Global illumination, usually it's the default as a global illumination, and you should use global illumination method as lumen, and we don't have to change the settings here, but there is a one, yes, reflection method should be lumen. It's already using lumen as default, but and also you should check this one. Okay, the high quality translucency reflection, you should check one under the post process, because this will give you, if you have, let's say if you have water and you want to have some reflections, lumen reflections, you should check this one. If you don't just check this one, you are not going to have a realistic reflection. Okay, you should check this one as well. And actually this one is also under the project settings, if I'm not mistaken. You can just type lumen, I don't know exactly where it was. Yes, high quality translucency left reflection. If you check the high quality translucency reflection here, you don't have to use post-process volume, but probably you have to use, you are going to use post-process, and you can check it from under here and also under here. It doesn't matter, you check here or here. Okay, so the second thing is, since we are going to use the lumen, and the lighting should be perfect and works fine, and we should use movable lights. Okay, it's important. So the skylight should be movable, and it should be real-time capture. Okay, these things are movable. Okay, so let me add a cube here. Let's, okay, so our, okay, shading, we don't have any shadow issues. See, it doesn't change when I go to here and here, it doesn't change. Okay, we are fine. Our light, shadows, okay, we are good to go. Now let's make content. You have to create some specific files for your static meshes and textures, because organization is important here. If you want to make a big scene, you have to be organized. So I'm going to create static meshes, let's say meshes. Okay, meshes, and here mesh textures. Okay, mesh textures, let's say like this. So since it's going to export these things in one piece, I'm going to separate them here. Let's export this one. Okay, let's choose our path directory. It's going to be under our project. Okay, let's go your Unreal Engine projects. Okay, Unreal projects. This one is door tutorial. It's under content, and as you can see, it looks everything's fine. We created our folder meshes, mesh textures. So we choose meshes. Okay, select folder and export model. Okay, I want to export the model as well. Okay, create subfolder. You can create subfolders, or you don't want to. If you don't want, you don't. And everything is fine here. Use FBX, export model, a metals map. I want these things all, and we are not going to use ambient occlusion and displacement as well. We don't use a displacement, but you can extract it as well, export it as well. Basically, we use albedo, roughness, normal, metalness. These are basic things. 2K resolution, and let's export this location. Okay, it directly exports our Unreal Engine project. You see we have 11 changes to source content files have been detected. Would you like to import them? Yes, import all. And so this says our import static mesh. We are importing static mesh. We don't want to import materials. I don't know if we create a new material and import the textures. I just want to use a master material of Megascan. Okay, so I don't want to create material. Don't import texture. Okay, import all. We say import all. Okay, we say okay, and import. So if we go to content drawer and see meshes, here is it. Okay, so we have, I just want to grab all these textures. Okay, all these textures, and separate it to another folder, because if we have lots of assets, this folder is going to so complicated, so mixed. Okay, so the textures are going to textures folder. Move here. We are moving our textures to another folder, and just only thing is door, and door 1 and door 2 here, and door frame. And if you want to have a one static mesh, you should select all of them and drag and drop. Okay, we have our static mesh here. Perfect, it looks fine. And now let's grab them and move another place. Okay, I'm holding shift, by the way, to move with them together like this. Okay, and if I press an F, it focuses to the static mesh. Okay, now to get rid of this light needs to be rebuilt. Let's come here and build all levels, or build lightning only. So okay, we are done, and we don't see the red warning anymore. Okay, what we are going to do now, you can either create your own materials, master materials, and apply them, but we are smart enough to use quixel's master material. So basically we are going to add quixel content to get the master material first, and we are going to create some material instance from the master material. So add some surface material, whatever you want. Okay, let's add, download any material you want. Okay, it doesn't matter, because we are just going to use the master material of this material. So just export it to our project by clicking the blue arrow. It exported. Okay, now close the bridge. So we have here a master material. Okay, we have a master material here, and this master material has actually this is master material instance. Sorry, this master material has a master material, and you see the parent here. When you click the browse, it brings where this the master material located. Okay, click it. So you see the master material here. Close this, and we are going to we're gonna just copy this one and copy to mesh textures. Okay, here, just copy here, and mesh textures. And reason why we use this one is because I don't know if we will have import the mesh with its textures, if it will would it give us textures within it, or I don't know, but I didn't try that way, but I use this one. And the reason why I use the master material of the Megascan is because I don't want to create the master material from scratch, and they have actually lots of tiling feature and some adjustments about color, metallic, so we don't have to create a master material from scratch. We just use the Quixel's Megascan's master material. So we have our textures here, okay, and we have our material here. So what we are going to do is we just create some material instance, okay, material instance. Let's change this name by pressing F2, change its name M and okay, this is our master material. Create material instance, and this one is mi means master material instance, to make the things easier to find makes easier, because if you click the material, it will show just only the material here. If you click the material instance and material instance, we are just using some specific names to get the things much more easier, okay. And if you want to open these panels, you just click here, yep, then choose material and material instance, textures, and in default you see these tabs in the sidebar. If I'm not mistaken, you should change it to something like, where is it, horizontal, vertical to horizontal. If I change it to vertical, it looks like this, and if you change it to horizontal, you have much more space here, okay. So let's change our mi hospital door, okay. So click our master material instance, sorry. So we have material, but this one is not the hospital door, sorry. This one is door. Let's use the same names with our textures. Doors, okay, doors. We just want to make, let's change mi doors, okay. Let's use the same name because it can be a little bit confusing for others or us. So okay, now we don't need to worry about tiling because our tiling is fine, but you can change by clicking here and change the tiling and offset the location of the texture and the repetition of your texture, okay. Tiling means that and offset is that. Albedo is changing the color. As I said, you don't need to change your colors in Megascans. Quixel Mixer, sorry. Quixel Mixer, we have a full control on our albedo metallic specular by using material instance. So first of all, let's add our albedo metalness. This one is a mask, and the first one say us it's an ambient occlusion, and the middle one is our roughness, and the second one is displacement. We are just going to use these materials, master materials here, the green channel, if I'm not mistaken, the green channel, yes, the red channel is associated with ambient occlusion, and the green channel is roughness, and the blue channel is displacement. So in the Unreal Engine 5.5, in Unreal Engine 5, yeah, they removed the displacement, if I'm not mistaken. So we don't use the displacement in material graph. You can use the displacement under 3D tool modeling part. You can use the textures displacement to create displacement. You use textures, but we don't need displacement. Ambient occlusion, we have ambient occlusion mask. So I don't have any mask, okay. We didn't create mask, and I'm not sure you can create export your textures as masks in Quixel Mixer, but we have our textures separately. So the green channel, when I apply the roughness to this part, it will just only use the green channel to get the roughness, okay. We are going to have a roughness, but not ambient occlusion and displacement. So we check the normal as well. Let's close the material, master material. So we have tiling, and okay, Let me open not this one here, content draw docket doc. Now we have to apply the albedo color, metalness and normal to get the texture. So the doors, okay, this is door frame. This is not the thing we want. It's where it begins. Okay, this one, doors albedo. Doors albedo goes to albedo. We don't have displacement. Metalness goes to metalness. Door normal goes to normal, and the doors roughness goes to roughness. Okay, so we are done. Actually, you can make some adjustments here. If you want to increase the or decrease the roughness, you can click these icons and check these box and make your adjustments. And you can increase, decrease the normal strength and albedo tint, tilings. Okay, you can make them. Let's try. Okay, this is our door selected. I can drag and drop the texture on it, okay, or I can just select the door, and whenever I select it's selected, I just click this left arrow icon. You select access from content browser, it says, and when I click it, it applied. Okay, so we have our textures here, but it's metallic. It's metallic. We have some metallic issues, or I don't know, maybe it's okay, but we can change, we can make some adjustments. We'll do that. Okay, so actually we have some missing objects here. Let me check. Yes, these ones are not imported, so meshes, we should move it and delete this thing and control, and if I press control middle mouse up, we go to the top view wireframe mode, and if I select all of these parts and delete it and go back to perspective mode and add this mesh, okay, because we have missing part. So okay, it's fine. Now we have door handles and this metal parts. Okay, now we can apply the texture meshes, this texture like here and like this. Okay, it looks fine. Actually great, it looks terrifying. And now we can make another material instance here. Create material instance mi underscore, let's say, what is the name of this door handle. Okay, door handle. Okay, door handle. Okay, now we can enable these things, and basically what I'm doing is just applying the textures respectively. Okay, door handles, where is it? Door handles. Okay, here, door handle metal parts begins with here, albedo, with albedo, click albedo. Sorry, let's dock it. Okay, door handle albedo, door handle albedo, door handle displacement metalness, use metalness, door handle metal parts normal, door handles roughness. So we have created our door handle material. Let's create other ones as well. So we can create the other ones by clicking and create material instance mi. What's left? Metal parts and door frame. Let's create door frame. Okay, door frame. Let's go albedo. And where is the door frame? Door frame albedo begins with albedo. Display metalness. Door frame normal. Door frame roughness. Okay, we have like so. Save. Okay, and the last one is mi door frame and metal parts. Okay, metal parts. So let's check albedo are indeed normal. And where is it? Door metal parts begins with here. No, metal parts begins with here. Okay, door metal parts albedo selected. So you see, the making organizations and the naming is highly important to apply these textures, because it could be a really complicated thing. so you might not overcome to make the texture. Metalness, it's like a puzzle, okay? Normal, roughness to roughness. So you can make some, I don't know how to use a substance painter. I have downloaded, but I couldn't use it, and quixel mix is much more easier, and people make some textures in only one UV grid, and the texture is just the one piece or two piece or three piece. It's much more efficient, I know, but I don't know how to create like that, so I just go with it with this technique. And and the textural textile density is much more good in this technique. Now we applied all materials, as you see here, metal parts. We are done with our materials. Okay, you can close these windows. Now we are going to apply the materials to our specific meshes. These ones are door handles. Okay, these are door handles. I use the wrong textures to these ones, so just apply them. Door frame to door frame, and my door frame. Okay, and metal parts. So like so, we have a perfect textures. So since we use the metal, these are metal. If you want to make the metalness a little bit less, okay, a little bit less metal, you can play with some metalness or roughness. Let's use the roughness, not the metalness, roughness or metalness. You can play. So these areas are a little bit shiny. I don't want to be there much shiny like this. So we are going to door handle, okay, and just reduce some metalness. Maybe you can make it a 0.5, I don't know, metallic colors. Metallic colors here. Let's change the metallic color. Let's say let's make it 0 and see the difference. Is there any difference? I don't know. Yeah, probably. Yeah, they have some differences, but we should play with the actually roughness. Let's say the roughness 0. Minimum roughness, not 1. Okay, minimum roughness. If we make it a little bit less reflective, okay. Yeah, as you see, the roughness. Don't play with specularity. Specularity means the reflection, yes, but you should play just only with the roughness to make it more shiny, reflective, or okay. Don't use with the specularity. So let's say 0.3. Yeah, 0.3 is looking okay. And the metal, these metal parts, okay, and the door should be as less strength. So we have let's close this one, and doors, let's open the doors. Okay, minimum roughness, these are going to these settings just only affect the doors. 0.1, let's use 0.1. a little bit rough, okay, not much there. So we are done. Yep, we are done. You can use this asset wherever you want. Now I will put this asset to under the description below. There will be a link to the Sketch app. You can download this as well, okay. And I thank you for your watching this video, and I hope you enjoyed and learned some basics and for exporting the Blender, Quixel mixer, and then exporting them to the Unreal Engine. I hope you enjoyed, and thanks you for watching, and see you in another video. Bye bye.